noon hour is here.
Check it out.
And you're locked on to Utah's highest rated, most listened to sports radio station.
It's my station. It's my station.
This is Hans Olsen and Scotty G on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Hey, let's get it. Hans and Scotty, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. High noon. How's everybody doing? How you doing?
I'm doing good, Scotty. Are we a year in with these openings yet? Our songs? The three?
I feel like it's only been like maybe a few months.
I still love them. I love all
it's been
three.
more than that. I think we're pushing 6 months on them.
Oh, I think we're a year. I think we might be.
I know you haven't started the show with dun, 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 dun.
I think we might be more than a year.
Dun, dun, dun,
Yeah, you haven't started like that.
I'm trying to remember. We're more than a year. And I'll tell you why I know. Because I picked this song driving back from one of McKenzie's games in Oregon.
Oh, okay.
Which would have been just over a year ago. So we've hit a year mark with that one. I do think that you and Lloyd brought yours a little bit later.
Yeah, I remember going through my favorites list on my Spotify account and on a trip to Vegas. Now, I don't know if that was basketball, regular season, or Mountain West Conference tournament. I haven't been there for football in a while, but I can't remember why I was driving to Vegas, but that's when I was really searching for one and stumbled on Lonely Boys.
Well, it might be time to freshen them up. What do you think?
I don't know. I kind of like them.
I do too, but I kind of liked searching for one.
I do too. I do too. Okay. Yeah, we can refresh.
Just finding good opens. How you doing, buddy?
Outstanding.
What's new?
Good Monday. Everything is good in the world. Can't complain. All is right. Uh-oh. What? Lloyd's giving me a look like, is all not right?
How's your mint?
It's gone now.
I love that, Lloyd.
See?
Lloyd.
All gone now.
I could hear it.
Oh, stop it. No, you couldn't.
I'm pretty trained on your voice.
Okay. Well, all right. Maybe it got
I could hear there's something there.
Maybe you should have let that music go a little longer.
You know,
My fault. My bad.
Yeah, it's on you.
I apologize for just starting a show at 12:05.
Well, I just went, we'd been doing the show for a little bit, and then Hans asked me, hey, you good? I'm like, yeah, I'm good. And then all of a sudden, that's when you popped your ear up. When the mint was gone. You didn't pop your head up when it was still
No, I could
being
hear
refreshing.
I was just doing something, so.
Okay.
I will tell you, I've been on air with Lloyd for whatever it is, 17, 18 years now. And the one thing I know about Lloyd is he just doesn't care how mad his critiques will make you.
That's not
It's
true.
true, but it's good. It's good.
Yeah, no.
It's good. It's a positive thing.
We like hard coaching.
It's a positive thing.
Is it, though?
Like one time, Lloyd pulled me aside and said, when did this whole lisp thing start? And I said, well, I don't.
Really?
Yeah, and you were saying, is your tongue swollen? Is it pressing against the teeth? I'm like, geez, man.
There was one time last year that he was ready to call 911 because he thought I was having a stroke because you're slurring your speech. I'm like, I'm not slurring my speech.
Oh, there was one show where you were in and out. I think you were just really tired. And so
I don't think so.
Lloyd
you had a bad
me
nig's sleep.
and said,
I think.
"Yeah, how's our guy?"
You were on remote. Yes.
I texted him. I said, "I'm not sure. I think he's doing okay. Let's give him some protein.
Okay.
Get him a hamburger patty."
All right, fine. We may have had a rough summer last summer. All right, we got a lot to get to today. Coming up a little bit later on in the show, our weekly visit, we think, with Ian Fitzsimmons, expected to join us at 1:05. Then at 2:05, gather around the radio, folks.
It's a big day.
It's opening day in the NHL. Bill Armstrong will join us coming up at 2:05. The general manager of I can't even say Utah Hockey Club anymore.
Nope.
Utah Mammoth.
Of the Utah Mammoth.
Yep. All right, let's get it. Hans and Scotty, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
This is Hans and Scotty G.
Let's go.
The lineup is set, and it's time to kick off the show with the biggest topic of the day. This is the starting lineup on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Hans and Scotty, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. All right, folks, it is your starting lineup as finally, after Utah has the week off, it is back. Utah and Arizona State, one of the premier games of the Big 12 coming up on Saturday. Can Utah right the ship and forget about that early loss to Texas Tech and finally get on the winning track at home in a Big 12 game against a really good Arizona State team?
Is Arizona State who we think they are? I'm going to ask you that question, Scotty. Is Arizona State the team that we think they are? Because right now they stand up there in the top of the conference, 2-0 in conference play, 4-1 in overall play. Their one loss was a Mississippi State team. It was on the road, and as we look at Mississippi State, they've lost back-to-back games to Tennessee and Texas A&M. Now, blowout games.
Yeah.
To Tennessee and Texas A&M. So the question is Arizona State who we think they are? And, Scotty, I start every single week with this nifty little gadget paper that you did for me, this graphic or design.
Yeah.
And I fill in all my different categories, and I have my ways. And I don't do it where you just go to the team website and it gives you all the different rankings. I go through all the national rankings. So I look at all the different teams. For instance, Texas Tech is leading the country in passing yards, and they're one of the top in the country in overall yards. Texas Tech is the real deal. We know who Texas Tech is. Arizona State had a really nice win against TCU, and they had a nice win on the road against Baylor. So I think we're starting to compile some of who they are. When I say nice win, it's a win against what is a good opponent. It's not a blowout win.
No, both games, same score, 27-24.
Both games were just a 3-point victory, okay? So when I was filling out this sweet spreadsheet you did for me, which it's got the BYU and Utah logos, and then I do BYU and Utah's opponents. And it's awesome how you organize this thing. I don't know. Arizona State's not the team that statistically, it's not the team that maybe visually, or I guess just guessing of what I would have thought this team would be. This team is one of the lower in the country in passing yards with Sam Levin. Only 208 yards a game. That puts them number 89 in the country. This team is almost the dead last worst team in the country in third down offense. They've only converted 21 of 68 for 30% on third downs. This team is one of the worst in the country in red zone offense. They've only scored 11 touchdowns in 22 trips.
Oh, batting just 50%.
50%.
Eesh.
11 touchdowns in 22 attempts puts them 117th in the country. And it was weird because I was coming across things that just didn't make a lot of sense. For instance, they let pressure in the backfield. They give up 5.8 TFLs a game. They're middle of the pack, both scoring offense and scoring defense. Number 67 in scoring offense at 29 points a game, and number 50 at scoring defense at 21 points a game. When you look at that just in comparison, Utah is number 18 in scoring offense at 39 and number 16 in scoring defense at 14.6. When you look at Utah statistically, there is not a single statistical category where Utah is in the bottom 100. There are multiple with Arizona State. It's just strange to me. Their passing defense, Arizona State's passing defense, 98th in the country. They give up 243 yards of passing defense. Total defense, they're 42nd because they do stop the run.
Yeah. And they do average nearly 9 TFLs a game. So they've got 19 sacks on the season. They're number 4 in the country in sacks per game. So they're up there with their TFLs. They're up there with their sacks. They're up there on their turnover margin. They're +5 on turnover margin. That'll do it.
Yeah, +5. They've taken the ball away 9 times. They've only lost it 4. So they're very conservative with the ball.
So they're not a heavy takeaway team. They just haven't turned the ball over that much.
They just haven't turned the ball over.
Yeah.
For comparison, they're the same as BYU. BYU has got 9 takeaways, and they've only lost it 4 times. They're +5. Same with Arizona State. just to look at a team that's got takeaways, Arizona has taken the ball away 11 times. Arizona is actually a turnover force and machine. So, and we'll get more into that tomorrow with the BYU preview show when we really jump into Arizona. But I asked the question because, I've got this, I guess I've put Arizona State on a bit of a pedestal.
Yeah.
Because they won the Big 12 championship game. That was such an upsetting loss for BYU at Sun Devil Stadium, and I saw a lot of things that I really liked. Cam Scadaboo was the very top of the peak, the very top of the pile. He was my favorite thing I saw. But they had a good offensive line that ran a lot of great blocking schemes that opened things up, and Arizona State has plug and replaced. So they've got running backs. They brought in the Army running back, and then they brought in another transfer that's balling out right now for Arizona State. I'm trying to remember let's see.
Was it Udo?
Udo is the Army running back.
Okay, so Raleek Brown.
Raleek Brown came from, was it USC?
Yeah, USC. He was on that Arizona State team last year.
Right, and he was a backup.
Yeah, to Scadaboo. And so now he's got a chance to shine a bit.
But Udo came from Army, which is the same place they brought their O-line coach from. And I felt like, man, they're going to mesh, but Raleek Brown has really shown up. He's not a big guy.
No, 5'9", 190.
Yeah, he's not a big guy. What does it have him listed at?
5'9", 190.
He's not a big guy.
Yeah, because a lot of times you'll see that 5'9", but also then 215 or something like that in your running backs. But to be under 200 and 5'9", that's a pretty slight frame going through trying to sneak through some big gaps.
It is. But he is a beast.
Yeah.
And he's one of the top in the Big 12. And, if there's anything that you can hang your hat on or have been able to hang your hat on, it's Arizona State's rushing game. 20th in the country at 215 yards a game. So, Scotty, I look at the numbers. I haven't jumped deep into the film, but I have watched a couple of games. I watched the Arizona State TCU game. And I kind of have a feel for him. I think that this is a very flawed and very beatable Arizona State team.
Yes, and I agree with you, and I think Utah wins this game on Saturday. But I also think Arizona State, the one thing they've got going for them is, and you saw it in those back-to-back games in which they beat TCU and they beat Baylor, is that this is a team that figured out how to win games last year. So they are flawed, make no mistake. They are not a whole team that's got it really rocking and rolling like they did near the end of last year. So there's some considerable issues with this team, but they also have kind of that intangible, like, okay, if it's close down the wire, we're going to find a way to get it done.
That's absolutely right. That's right. If Sam Levitt is believing at the end of the game, then you're like, you better keep your foot on the pedal. Utah better put all the pressure on, get the lead, because even 10, 13, 14 points with 8 minutes left, Arizona State, I don't trust it. And Coach Dillingham says all the right things, and Sam Levitt is a competitor and doesn't say the right things, says different strange things, but he believes in himself. The guy believes in himself.
Yeah.
And rightfully so. He does have a lot of talent. He's the second leading rusher on this team. That's the other thing. So as I was kind of working through the numbers, I think that Utah, to a large degree, will be able to control portions of their running game. What Utah is going to have to be really sensitive of is Sam Levitt's ability to run.
Yeah. I love that you brought up the comparison, because I remember you talking to people close to the situation, and this was a long time ago, 6-7 years ago when Zach Wilson was playing. You mentioned that was a high level of priority of Utah to slow down Zach Wilson in his rushing attack. And I think the same thing applies probably in this game.
It very much does. So this kind of cracked me up, because I'm sitting there watching Monday Night Football last night.
Yeah. Great game, by the way.
Great game. And I'm watching Trevor Lawrence, and I'm like, that's Sam Levitt.
Ooh.
That's Sam Levitt. And I'm talking about pass to run distribution. Trevor Lawrence, he led Jacksonville last night in rushing. 55 or 60 yards, whatever it was. But Trevor Lawrence led them in rushing. And I was looking at that, and I'm like, and I was watching the way he moves the pocket and some of his throws. I'm like, geez, man, that's Sam Levitt. It's a pretty solid comparison. I don't know size comparisons. Do you have Trevor Lawrence's size? I've got.
Let me find it here real quick.
Sam Levitt is 6'2", 205. Trevor's probably 6'4".
Yeah, he's a tall mamba jamba, that's for sure.
He seems like he'd be more than 6'2". But I do find a lot of similar characteristics. And
wow, Trevor Lawrence, 6'6".
Jeez. So he's Peyton Manning's height.
6'6", 220.
That's Peyton Manning. Peyton was 6'6", 6'5", 6'6", probably 215, 220.
People don't know that about Peyton. He's a tall son of a gun.
Tall. I remember the first time I met him, it was in the weight room, and he walked in some penny loafers and some dopey-looking golf shorts and a
tucked into
pink
khakis, yeah.
A pink collared shirt with the gator on it. I'm like,
who brought their accountant to work?
Oh, who's this guy with the weaved leather belt and the penny loafers with no socks?
Oh, just the greatest quarterback.
Yeah.
Well, top three.
Top three. But what Utah really has to do, so they'll definitely play with a full box because Arizona State, as much as we might want to think Sam Levitt can ball, and he's got the best wide receiver in the Big 12 in Jordan Tyson, who that dude, you better be full alert with that guy because he will torch you. You still have a priority to stop the run, force the pressures, and see if you can disrupt Jordan Tyson. That's the key to winning this game against Arizona State.
39 receptions, almost 500 yards, 7 touchdowns. He's averaging nearly 12 yards a catch, almost 100 yards a game.
He is a menace.
Yeah.
He is really good. But, here's the good news. The good news is University of Utah, they got guys that can tie him up.
Yeah.
They got a guy that should be able to tie him up. And I would put a lot of Smith Snowden on Jordan Tyson. And I'd say, let's go earn our paychecks.
Do you have him follow him?
Because I don't know what's going on with Benny.
Yeah.
And, you've already had one loss to Richie.
Yeah.
And so you're slimming down in the defensive backfield. I would consider putting Smith Snowden or running different coverages where I rotate Smith Snowden to Jordan Tyson.
Yeah.
Because I want to take my best cover guy and try to take out their best receiver. Because really, Jordan Tyson is the guy.
And if you're Smith Snowden, you want that matchup.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, that'll put you on the map real fast.
Oh, yeah.
Because Jordan Tyson has every physical ability. He's got height. He's got really good size. He's kind of a, you would think for that level of speed that he might be more frail, but he's actually built like a truck.
Yeah.
So I would love to see Smith Snowden raise his hand in defensive meetings and just say,
let me trail him.
Let's do this.
Yeah.
Let's do this. Let's really test just to see how much you want it, how far you can go, because you're right. That would put him right squarely on all of the NFL's radars. He's already on the NFL radar, but it would peak him out.
Yeah. And on the flip side, you got Tyson over there. He's looking to make some money, and he probably wants to go against Smith Snowden.
Yes, he does. He would love to see that matchup.
Yeah.
And both of them are going to come in with huge egos and reputations to put on the line.
Yeah.
And I'd like to see it. But Arizona State, just on the surface, is not what I thought Arizona State would be. But Sam Levitt is still very dangerous.
And it's a team that just has a lot of confidence. Just a ton of confidence.
Ton of confidence.
And they play off their quarterback. They play off their coach, who's 3 shades of crazy, but a hell of a coach.
Yeah.
And then they've got a alpha of all alphas at quarterback. And, yeah, those are the guys you want leading your program.
Mm-hmm. You know, you go back to the offensive efforts now of the University of Utah, and their offense has numbers for days. Numbers for days. In fact, we talked about this going back 2 weeks ago, or 3 weeks ago, getting ready for that Texas Tech game. They were number 1 in the country in red zone chances to touchdown. They were number 1. They're still number 3 in the country, 21 touchdowns on 25 attempts. They're still number 3 in the country, which is crazy, to know, okay, when Utah gets in the red zone, Devin Dampierre finds a way to score. And he's done, some of the crazy ways he scored.
Oh, yeah.
He scored off, like we were just comparing him to Trevor Lawrence. We were just comparing Sam Levitt to Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah.
That crazy play last night where he falls on the ground.
Twice.
And bobbles the ball in his hand and then had a D-end hanging on his shins, and he shook him down for the game-winning touchdown. Crazy. That's Devin Dampierre. Devin just finds a way to will his way to it. He's going to have to be really good. But priority number 1, you can't have the inexplicable interceptions.
Nope.
The ones that you look at it and you're like, wait a second, did the receiver just run the complete wrong route? Was he supposed to break on an in and he broke on an out? Because there have been a couple of passes where you're like, that makes no sense.
Yeah, you don't want to see that turnover where Dampierre is going to the sideline, looking at a receiver and making hand motions like, I thought you were going to stop.
Yeah.
And you kept going. Or I thought you were going to do one of these things.
Yeah. Nope. Don't want that.
Hans and Scotty, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Let's go! Complete game coverage of the Cougars is right here on the KSL Sports Zone. The Cougars head to Tucson for a battle against the Arizona Wildcats. Your home for the best coverage of Cougar football is right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. This is Hans Olsen and Scotty G, presented by Mountain Land Supply on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Hans and Scotty, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone, 12:36 on a Tuesday. Hey, by the way, great conversations yesterday. Kalani Sitake, Kyle Whittingham, Bronco Mendenhall. If you missed any of those, get to our podcasting feed. Just search Hans and Scotty on your podcasting platform of choice, and it will take you right there. And plus, you get all the other stuff. An interview you may have missed, or a segment, or the Sunday morning podcast, whatever. We have it all for you there. Please download, rate, leave a comment as long as it's kind.
That'd be nice.
And a rating as long as it's 5 stars.
That'd be appreciated.
That helps. That helps.
We have 2 of them.
Yeah, and then 1 star.
We have 3 total ratings. No, we would. We really appreciate it. It would help us with our ability to stay on air.
Yeah, and because that's all that really matters to us.
Yeah.
Keeping our job.
We want to be here for you,
yeah,
if possible.
Also, you can watch us on YouTube, I think. Lloyd is in here fixing the cameras. Uh-oh.
He's having to reset a camera.
Yeah, he's got that Nintendo cartridge.
It's like he's setting up his duck hunt. That was my favorite Nintendo game.
Duck hunt?
Yeah.
With the dog that'd laugh at you and you miss?
And you shoot the gun.
Yeah.
I was always blown away with the technology of being able to shoot a gun at a screen and watch something fall when you hit it.
Yeah.
They're crazy. Still shocking.
Yeah.
And I don't know, have we done anything like that since? I haven't seen anything like that.
No, it seems like all the kids these days just have a controller for their first-person shooter games.
I swear that's the only game that was ever hand-to-TV interactive.
We've got to improve that technology.
Right?
Because if you were at your house and you had a shotgun and a skeet shooting game and a shotgun that obviously fake hooked up to your whatever system.
Whatever, however.
And you got it on the big screen and you're air
Shooting
blasting some skeet or some pheasants. You're all about that, right?
It's weird.
Yeah.
That was cool technology.
All right. Big weekend, as we mentioned, Utah taking on Arizona State. You just heard Kalani Sitake talk about a showdown with Noah Fifita in Arizona. And I think there's a lot of BYU fans that have kind of mentally checked themselves already into next week.
Oh, to the rivalry game?
Yeah, to the rivalry game. Yeah. I think there's some people that are overlooking this Arizona team, and I would highly, highly encourage you not to do that.
Yeah, a couple things with Arizona. They fired both their offensive coordinators and their defensive coordinator last year. And they hired who I believe was their special teams coordinator. I think Danny Gonzalez was their special teams coordinator.
Former New Mexico coach.
Last year, yes. They hired Danny Gonzalez as the defensive coordinator this year. Danny has reorganized the defense, and now this is a top 10 defense.
Yeah.
In the country. They only give up 245 yards a game. They're the number 25 rushing defense, giving up under 100 yards. And the number 11 passing defense at 147 yards. It's one of the best defenses in the country. Again, I'll repeat that. This Arizona defense is one of the best defenses in the country. Now, they've played some mediocre teams. They beat Hawaii 40-6.
Hawaii's got a good offense.
Starting to learn a little bit more.
Been doing a deep dive on Hawaii over the last couple of days.
They beat Weber State 48-3.
Yep.
They beat Kansas State. By the way, go if you haven't looked at the numbers on Avery Johnson and Kansas State. I think it was I was looking at it this morning, and I didn't write the numbers down. I think it's 150 some odd total yards. Avery passed for like 88 yards. And they ran for like, I don't know. They ran for like 100 or 113 or something. It's very, very low yardage. Kansas State could not move the ball on Arizona. So they beat Kansas State. They lose to Iowa State. And then last week against Oklahoma State, they thumped them good. This defense is number 10 in the country in third down percentage. They only allow 26% conversion rate on third down, Scotty. Listen to this. 70 third down attempts. They've given up 18 out of 70.
Wow. Okay.
70 third down attempts. They've given up 18 first downs on 70 attempts. Crazy. Red zone defense is fantastic. Their TFLs, they've racked up 43 TFLs. 43. They're at 8.6 TFLs a game. They're number 8 in the country in TFLs. So they're going to play in your backfield. They're fantastic in turnover margin. They forced 11 turnovers. And so I know we think we're like, oh, Noah Fifita. But this is a defensive team.
Yeah. I apologize. I'm kind of putting you on the spot here, and we should have had this conversation off the air. And if you haven't, because I know you're just starting your film study on these teams, so if you're not ready to answer this right now, that's totally acceptable. But the defensive coordinator, why am I spacing his name? Danny Gonzalez. Danny Gonzalez was at New Mexico, and Blake Anderson was very close with Danny Gonzalez. And Blake said, I know New Mexico's not any good, but they run a very chaotic defense. Mm-hmm. They're coming from all over the place. It's an offshoot of that old Rocky Long defense where they're going to blitz you from all over the place. You never know. You can never know where it's going to go. They disguise their coverages like crazy, and they are very difficult just based on the chaotic nature of the way they play defense. In your early studies, have you kind of seen that as well?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. They come from every direction, every angle. In fact, I was looking at the sacks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 different guys with sacks.
That's Danny Gonzalez. That's his defense.
Comes from everywhere. Yep. And, you've got 2 linebackers that lead the team with 2 each, but then you got 1 sack just across the board with multiple defensive linemen multiple defensive backs coming off different nickel blitzes. Yeah, so everything is chaotic, what Arizona's trying to do to defensively, and it's working. And then the other thing that we saw was Coach Brennan fired his offensive coordinator and hired Seth Doge as the offensive coordinator. And because Brennan mentioned at the end of the season that he wanted a guy that could truly work with quarterbacks. He wanted to give Noah Fafita a boost. And so Seth Doge has come in, and he's done just that. He's kind of re-energized Noah Fafita. So to your point, yeah, I was watching a couple quarters of Arizona versus Oklahoma State this morning. So, but I was more watching what was happening with Oklahoma State's defense against Noah Fafita. Because Noah Fafita got sacked 6 times. Oklahoma State was running 5- and 6-man pressures. He got sacked 6 times, but still had 500 yards of offense in that game. Let me just double check this. He was sacked 6 times by Oklahoma State, and he still threw for 376 yards and 5 touchdowns. There were multiple times where he was under pressure. He was done. They could have had Oklahoma State missed another 3 or 4, and he would get out of it and chuck it down the field for crazy yardage. So, and then the other thing that was weird with the Arizona-Oklahoma State game, the first half, they came out running this Ismail Mahdi. They call him Is Mahdi.
Yeah.
They ran him, and then they just stopped, dead stop, and went all pass. But the first half, it was like, oh, yeah, we're going to show them. And then they were like, nah, screw it. Let's just throw it. And they just started launching it all over in the second half. So kind of crazy.
So back to that Arizona defense, though. Over the last 10 years, there's only been 1 year that Arizona State held teams to less than 32 points per game.
Arizona State?
Arizona.
Yeah, Arizona.
Over the last 10 years, only 1 year they held opponents to under 32 points a game.
Jeez.
And that was, even then, that was 27 points per game. This year, now granted, we're still early in the season, not quite to the halfway point. They're holding teams to 15.6.
Yeah.
Arizona has always had a garbage defense.
Bad.
Until this year.
So then you ask yourself, is it, to do that to Kansas State, come on, that's Matt Wells.
Yeah. Matt knows his way around offenses.
You and I have some respect for Matt Wells.
Ton of respect.
Listen to what they did to Kansas State. Held Avery Johnson 13 of 29 for 88 yards. 13 of 29, 88 yards, 0 touchdowns, 0 interceptions.
Was that about 45%? Around there?
Right around 45. Yeah, 45%. They held Kansas State rushing to 105 yards. So you're looking at 193 yards total offense. They dismantled Kansas State. I'll be honest, I have not watched the Kansas State. I will watch Arizona, Kansas State just to get ready. But that's a whooping on a Kansas State team that,
they've got some dudes.
I've got some respect for them. Yeah. They just lost to Baylor by a point. They beat UCF. Let me look at their offensive numbers for UCF. They ran for 266 yards against UCF. And Avery Johnson threw for 170 yards and 2 touchdowns against UCF. So I asked myself, well, okay, are their defensive numbers hollow? I don't know. I don't think so.
I don't think so. No. I mean, they're not. Look, you get in the Big 12, that 15.9 points per game is going to come up a little bit.
You would think.
But they're the real deal. They're really good.
So that mixed with Noah Fafita as a playmaker. And I was looking at, because I remember that game, You remember BYU Arizona last year when they came here to LaVell Edwards Stadium? It was an embarrassment. Brennan was embarrassed.
Yeah.
Noah was embarrassed. It was like 44-15 or some crazy beatdown by BYU. And I'm like, how much has Arizona really improved? Well, they've improved enough that all your senses have to be high alert as you go into Tucson.
Hans and Scotty, 12:48. Take a break, come back. We'll get you what you may have missed straight ahead right here on The Zone.
Nobody gets you ready for Utah football more than the KSL Sports Zone.
Ready?
Kyle Whittingham and the Utes are back at home for a showdown against Arizona State. Your home for the best coverage of Utah football is right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. This is Hans Olsen and Scotty G, presented by Mountain Land Supply on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
The great Ian Fitzsimmons will join us coming up in about 10 minutes from right now. Time for another edition of What You May Have Missed. And if you missed this one last night, you missed out. The Chiefs lose. Hans, you called it. I was like, Chiefs will blow out Jacksonville. And you're like,
Jacksonville had some good wins under their belt.
Yeah. And
they had some good wins coming into that game.
And how about Devin Lloyd?
Yeah.
99-yard interception return for a score. And I was like, I was watching some of the highlights afterwards, and this was not a fat man touchdown. Like, people were like, oh, he's never ran 100 yards in his life. What are you talking about? Devin Lloyd's a freak athlete.
Oh, yeah. Long, extended, great shape, fantastic athlete. Good win. I saw, former Utah State player for Kansas State, too. He was out there quite a bit.
Oh,
Royals?
Jalen Royals, wide receiver.
Saw Royals a couple times.
Yeah.
But it's about time. I think that it's finally time.
You think they've turned their...
I do.
Yeah.
I do. And I don't know if they're going to start to pull the Golden State thing where they just play for the postseason. But the NFL, you can't do that as much. You lose a couple of games that you thought you could have or should have, and you're not even sniffing the postseason. It's just so limited. You can't really play that game in the NFL. You have to go full tilt every game. That's why when I see teams lose, I'm like, no, that you weren't resting guys. You don't rest guys in the NFL. You got 17 tries. That's it.
Yeah.
To find your spot. So I feel like it's weighing on them.
Maybe it's the end of the era for the Kansas City Chiefs. We can only hope.
The other thing I wanted to mention, what you may have missed, was Deion Sanders is undergoing a medical procedure. Another one. He ended his weekly news conference with a medical update. He said, I cannot wait to get past this hurdle. It has nothing to do with me working at the level I'm trying to compete at. He's just dealing with issue after issue. He's got a fake or I don't know what they did with his bladder, but they've removed his bladder. That cancer and the issues that he had was a serious procedure.
Yeah.
So just to have him on the sidelines and continuing to do what he's doing, I think it's kind of a miracle.
Right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
It's another battle for the Aggies, and the KSL Sports Zone has it covered. It's a battle on the islands as Utah State squares off against Hawaii. Your home for all the play-by-play coverage of Aggie football is right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. This is Hans Olsen and Scotty G, presented by Mountain Land Supply on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Hans and Scotty, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Man, I had everybody hit me up. Like, I like you guys, but if we go another week without Ian Fitzsimmons, we revolt. Well, guess what? He's back. Hi, Ian. How you doing?
So full of crap, it's unbelievable.
No.
I mean,
that's
that is
I would never do that.
Line of BS. Hands, reach across and just knock the crap out of him, please.
That's what we call Tuesday around here.
I don't dare, Ian. I don't dare. I don't want to knock him off the chair.
How we doing, man? Well, let me tell you something, boys. Last week, while I missed you, I was in room 403 at the Residence Inn in Williamsport, Pennsylvania. Oregon, Penn State, whiteout, so far in the early parts of the college football, not early, hell, week 7, but to this point, that was the most electric, remarkable game of the year. And I'm puking and doing everything else you can imagine in room 403 while I'm supposed to be on the sideline of that game. That's how bad it was last week. So, vicious. Hands.
What'd you have? What'd you have?
Was it food?
I don't know. It was either flu or food poisoning. I don't know. But it was vicious. So, there we go. But we're back, man. Good to go, and let's get it. Because guess what? Coming along on the Wasatch Front this weekend, BYU, please don't screw this up. Utah, please don't screw this up. Because the Big 12 right now is like the SEC. If anybody tries to tell you who they truly know who's going to be playing in the Big 12 title game or the SEC championship game, guess what? They're lying to you. They're full of crap because both of these conferences are so damn deep. I can't wait. And part of me right now is rooting for, could we, if Utah were to beat BYU in a couple weeks and then they both run the table and somebody takes care of Texas Tech, can we see BYU Utah in the Big 12 champ? You know where I'm going with that, Scotty.
Let's go.
So, I mean, could it happen? Yeah, it could. But Texas Tech is just so damn good right now, guys. They are. That's the best team money could buy, and Joey Mack ain't apologizing for it. I mean, they're playing by the rules, and so is Cody Campbell, that billionaire oil tycoon, who happens to be, disclaimer, an old friend. I wish he'd give me some of that oil money. But, man, the Big 12 is shaping out to be just a remarkable stretch run, just like the SEC. I can't wait.
I'll tell you what, Baron Morton hurried back, didn't he? That Will Hammond got out on the field and gunned it, runned it, and did everything with it. And Morton's like, geez, I'm not going to let this guy go very much longer. Baron Morton got back with Texas Tech fast.
Oh, and that's a good – that was an undefeated Houston team at Houston. And it felt like damn near that stadium was 50-50. The Red Raiders, the tortilla heads, they are just absolutely embracing everything about this team. And you're right, man. Baron Morton was like, you're not taking my spot, dude. And they go in and punk, I do mean punk, a really good Houston team. So the Red Raiders are for real. The tortillas will be flying. And, man, this is this weekend, though, guys. I mean, look, don't sleep on Arizona. And obviously you're not going to sleep on Arizona State because they were just, in the chip in the college football playoff. But Utah can't afford to stumble. BYU at least can, but don't do it. Just don't do it to me, please. Just take care of business and let's go.
You covered this game. You know how much it means around here, especially when these two teams are good.
Can you imagine twice?
You know what? I'm already counting my rating bonuses right now. Already. Let's go.
But here's the thing, though. Do I think it's going to happen? No. Could it happen? Yeah. And the reason I say do I think it's going to happen is a two-letter word instead of three. That team we just talked about in Texas Tech. They're legit.
I want to talk a little bit about Arizona State because they just find ways to win. Back-to-back 27-24 wins. They're not dump trucking people, but they still have that swagger to them with that quarterback who's the ultimate of all alphas in that locker room. What have you seen out of Arizona State so far this year?
Man, Levitt is legit. You're right, especially for somebody his age. He commands respect. And I've only done one of their games. I did one last year. And you see, even as a freshman, guys were gravitating to him, which, Hands, have you been on those sidelines, man? And Scotty and I just talk. You've lived it. That's impressive for a true freshman to command that kind of – and organically. They just gravitate to the guy. But it all starts with the head coach and Kenny Dillingham. He doesn't want to beat you. He wants to humiliate you. He calls his their game room or whatever the pool tables and the video games and ping pong or whatever else, which Rick Carlisle, of course, calls table tennis. He gets very upset if you call it ping pong. He doesn't call it the game room. He calls that the competition room. Everything is a competition at Arizona State, and it starts with Kenny Dillingham. He is just a different animal, man. I mean, he really is. So when you talk about just those little subliminal things, it's not a game room. We're not playing games in here. If you're playing pool, you're competing. If you're playing table tennis, you're competing. If you're playing freaking Galaga, you're competing. This is a competition room, not a game room. The little subliminal messages that guy sends reminds me a lot of Kyle Whittingham. And Man, that one's going to be one to watch. And I've got a night game, 7 o'clock Central kick in Baton Rouge, South Carolina. I'm going home. I'm going to get even fatter than I already am. I will be able to get back to the hotel and watch the fourth quarter of that bad boy. And I can't wait because that one, that's going to get nasty.
What do you make of Jordan Tyson? What would you do if you're Utah? How do you figure out this receiver?
Can we get Morgan Scalley on the phone?
Yeah.
I don't know, man. He's just a monster target. What's he got now? 7 tutties this year, I think. Yeah. Close to 40 catches. I'm going off the top of my head, guys. Yeah. I mean, he's a beast. I mean, I don't know any other way to describe it. You know, when they're in the red zone, you know where it's going. I mean, it's not even a secret. I mean, it's all right. Here we go now. Where's that guy wearing 0? Oh, we're all 6'3", 200 pounds of him. Just throw it over to him and. Good stuff will work out, right? He's averaging a first down a catch. So, I think you got to bracket him, don't you, Hans?
Oh yeah.
Let's just go. You know, filthy, naughty, deep into the weeds game inside the game. I got to bracket that guy. I'm not going to go and man up on him, right? You've got to have a safety over the top every single time, especially in the red zone, because he's so dangerous. I mean, but then you're taking away, you're robbing from Peter to pay Paul. So how dangerous is that? If you're Morgan Scalley, if you are going to go ahead and shade a safety toward Tyson.
Ian Fitzsimmons, ESPN, joining us right here.
That was a question, Scotty. I mean, can Hans answer the question?
You know what? You knew long enough that it's time to reset, right? your boys at Bristol bark at you all the time. Got to reset the guest. Got to reset the guest.
It sounds like you're my old boss again, dude. I just asked the man a question. Can he answer it?
Well, the problem with it is, Ian, you've got Raleek, and where you've got Raleek Brown, who's averaging what he's averaging, I've got to use safety and run support. So I don't know, man. It's a catch-22. I think that's what makes Arizona State really tough. If I'm Morgan Scalley, I'm probably leaving my beefier safeties a little bit closer to the line. I might run one over the top, but I was talking to Scotty. I'm going to take my best cover corner. If that's Smith Snowden, then it's Smith Snowden. And I'm going to try to do as much work as I can. But you're right. Well, I can't let him run free. So I've got to give him extra attention.
Here's the other part, Hans. And Scotty, you want to reset?
No, you're good. You keep going.
I love you, buddy. You're dealing with as you mentioned, with Raleek Brown, right? Who's averaging, 6.5 yards a tote? I mean, so if you do shade the safety, then you're opening up that aspect of it. So, Arizona State's a complete football team. So is Utah, and that's why I can't wait for this one. Now, and as far as BYU goes to the other side, with Kalani Sitake, they are a very small favorite. That scares me a bit, man, because Vegas knows a hell of a lot more than we do. A prime example, last week, Cincinnati is favored over Iowa State. Undefeated Iowa State. Now, they're at Cincinnati, but Cincinnati's a 2-point favorite. You know what the most heavily wagered game in Vegas was last week?
Cincinnati, Iowa State taking the +2.
The public hammered Iowa State, and what happened? Yeah. So,
Cincinnati.
Yeah, this one scares me. Hey, Kalani, have your boys buckle that chin strap a little bit tighter. Fafita, it feels like he's been the quarterback at Arizona for 17 years. I mean, it does. It feels like he's been there forever. He is maybe 5'8", but he can sling it. We've all seen it. That's why T-Mac was a first-round draft pick, their wide receiver to the Carolina Panthers. So this is one that scares me a little bit. Both these games scare me for Utah and BYU. Just handle your business, and let's continue with the dream of a possible rematch in the Big 12 championship game.
So whatever you were dealing with at Penn State, did you give it to that team on their trip to UCLA? What happened there?
This is, by the way, this is the beauty of college football. If you're not passionate about the game of football, just go watch the Neuheisels. Jerry Neuheisel calling plays for the first time in his coaching career. With that majestic hair that guy has. I mean, I'm about to come all the way home and shave my head because I'm going bald as hell. But, man, that dude has got some Hollywood locks coaching at UCLA. And he had 2 days to put in a game plan. And he punked and pantsed James Franklin and Jim Knowles. And watching Rick, and I was on with Rick yesterday on Full Ride with he and Chris Childers. And I told him, man, I'm getting unsolicited text messages from guys like like Tom Telesco, longtime NFL general manager, going, can you believe this Neuheisel story? If you're not passionate about college football, go watch Jerry Neuheisel's post-game presser and watch the highlights of his dad. If you don't have a tear in your eye, man, you aren't human. It was awesome. Absolutely remarkable. And so I'm going to compliment, and I have all week, I'm complimenting UCLA instead of ripping Penn State because that was just a spectacular performance. And it starts with Tim Skipper cleaning house and that coaching staff and then elevating Jerry Neuheisel to call plays. And he called one hell of a game. Now, I mentioned Tim Skipper. You know how many wins he now has over an AP-ranked top 10 team?
That would be one.
You know how many James Franklin has?
That would be one.
Doesn't that crack you up? I mean, James Franklin has not been able to win that big game. And I know they were in this college football semi last year. I get it. But you pick Oregon for a whiteout game. Yeah, Dan Lanning's the wrong guy to do that to because he finds every little thing when it comes to motivating. And the moment that Lanning and Oregon saw that was a whiteout, it was, oh, you want us for a whiteout? Oh, and you had that chant, we are Penn State? You know, I love him in the tunnel going, we are. And he goes, about to whip your ass. And they did. You know, I mean, I know it took double OT, but that's the time where, and if Scotty Hands, you both know this, Oregon beat Penn State twice. Does that make sense?
No.
The hangover and that hard-hitting physical football game got Penn State not once at the whiteout, but it lingered 3,000 miles all the way to California. They were still moping and drooling and licking their wounds from Oregon. And that's why Oregon, I say, beat Penn State not once, but twice. And Jerry Neuheisel and UCLA took full advantage of it. Hell of a win, remarkable. And Penn State right now, out of the top 25. Texas, out of the top 25. What were they preseason? 1-2. What did we talk about before week 1? Every year we're going to see teams that start out in the top 10 end up unranked. And it didn't even take till week 7 till we finally saw it.
I think that there's an interesting study here with Penn State where they had Nevada, FIU, and Villanova, where there are 3 openers before they went to Oregon.
Nobody.
Yeah, and, you just beat up on a bunch of nobodies, and I think you might have a false sense of self going into that Oregon game where Oregon comes into Penn State and gets that win. When on the flip side of that, Oregon had been tested with Northwestern. They were on the road with Northwestern. They had played Oregon State. Now, Oregon State has been up and down, but Oregon State mostly bad. They beat Oklahoma State 69-3, but at least they tested themselves a little bit to figure out who they were. I just wonder.
Yeah, these are P4 opponents.
Yeah, I just wonder if Penn State just was off in la-la land thinking that there was nobody that could get through them with what they'd done in the first 3.
Hans, that's a great question. I don't have an answer, but I do know this. Drew Aller for 3 quarters was awful. 4th quarter, he was sensational, and then he had that awful throw in double OT. And when the moment is grandest and the light's brightest, he's not handling it very well. And so, people were talking about him as a potential first-round pick. I wouldn't take him in the first 3 rounds right now. Yeah, I'm just, and I never would have said that about a college player until NIL. You want millions of dollars? Now you're pros. Now we can blast the ever-loving hell out of you. You're going to cash that check? Guess what? You're a professional now. And if 18-year-olds can go to war, guess what? We can blast you for wet-the-bed moments playing college athletics because you're cashing checks. So Drew Aller wet the damn bed, and they did it again at UCLA, and I give full credit to the Bruins. It was a hell of a story.
Who's your Heisman frontrunner right now?
Dante Moore.
Yep.
I mean, this young man, and as you guys know, we talked before week 0. I was embedded with Oregon for about 5 days, and when I say that everyone to a man, from Dan Lanning to the defensive coordinator Tosh Lupoy on down to the chief of staff Marshall Malkow, who manages the portal as well as anybody in college football. This team, everyone said, this is our most talented team we've ever had here at Oregon. You just don't know a lot of the guys yet. They're just young. Look at 23, that true freshman running back. You want any part of that? Nope. Look at Kerryon Moore, true freshman wideout. You want any part of that? No one knew who these guys were coming into the season outside of Oregon fans. And even Oregon fans really didn't know how great they were going to be. Look at what they're doing right now. I mean, it is. They are deep. They're talented, and they don't want to beat you. They want to embarrass you. Dan Lanning is one of the master motivators. And when he said Dante Moore was going to be everything and then some, I'm like, okay, I got to see it first, Coach. Well, we've seen it, and he's legit. And he was, on ESPN Bet to start the season, he was plus 4,000, meaning you got to bet $100 to win $4,000. Well, I put $50 on him to win the Heisman, right? And I'm hoping, praying that baby cashes because he's playing at a remarkable level right now. So is Carson Beck in Miami, and so is Jeremiah Love now all of a sudden at Notre Dame. So, when you talk about Dante Moore, that is a legit Heisman, not candidate, but amongst the front runners. And he has a Jalen Hurts type attitude about him. You guys notice that? You don't never see him smile. You never see him get angry during a game. It's after the game that all of a sudden the emotions come out. But during the game, that dude's his facial expressions, his mannerisms, his body language, it doesn't change. And that's remarkably impressive.
Ian, is there something wrong with Arch Manning?
I don't think so. He's a young quarterback who's starting for the first time. The injuries this is what drives me nuts, Hans. The injuries they have at running back, is anybody talking about that?
No.
The O-line not being able to protect, anyone talking about that?
No.
That's not nearly as much fun.
With the last name Manning.
Yeah.
That's it. They are so banged up at running back. The O-line is young, talented, but young as hell, and yet it's all on Arch. So, in full disclaimer, I got Oklahoma next week against South Carolina. We just got to sign that game today. And I just had Oklahoma. That front seven is legit, led by R. Mason Thomas. They will get after your ass. So Arch is going to have his hands full again this week. But when it comes to is he overhyped or this? Yeah, he was overhyped. Why? Because his name's Manning, and he went to Texas, right? And he was the number one prospect in all of college and high school football coming out, of Newman High in New Orleans. But I'm not going to rip the young man yet. It's his first year as a starter. And what's a quarterback's best friend? Running game and O-line. Well, both those aren't clicking right now. So I'm not going to – I don't think there's anything wrong with him. He's just young and doesn't have a running game, and he's not being protected well. And, by the way, he ain't exactly seeing it well also. It's not all in the running game and O-line, but I'm not going to turn my back on Arch Manning yet.
That is Ian Fitzsimmons. If you don't know who Ian is, he's with ESPN, and he is our current guest right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. How's that for a reset? Solid?
Well, most people have no idea who I am, and Scotty, they're wondering why you have me on every week. But I love you guys, and so we just chop it up and bust each other's chops, and there you go.
Everybody knows the legendary Ian.
Everybody knows Ian Fitzsimmons.
Whatever.
You're the best, man.
Hey, by the way, I got a question for you guys before you turn me loose. So I've had this wallet for 22 years. My wife gave it to me when we got married from a little leather and nice shop in Jackson, Wyoming. And it's to the point now where, credit cards are falling out. So I've got to get either a new wallet or do you guys go with, there's this thing called the Ridge, I was told.
No, that's too expensive, man. It's not worth it.
So you're a wallet guy, not a money clip guy?
I'm I don't know, Hans, what do you call this thing? It's kind of more of a money clips thing, but
card and clip.
But those Ridge, man, they want like $60 for one of those things. Yeah, just go on Amazon, get you something easy for $5. Don't worry about it.
You're more money clip and than wallet.
Yeah. Although I used to Costanza it a lot. I used to have the big old fat wallet for a long time.
Why does that not surprise me about Scotty, that he would go with the big wallet, Costanza? You have the big jacket too, don't you? You're knocking over wine bottles.
I feel bad because his wallet's smaller than mine. No, he just pulled his out. I'm looking at mine. I'm like, geez. I might have to
something right now, but we're on in Utah.
Yeah, I know.
I realized that really quick.
Know exactly. Everyone listening knows where I was going to go with that, but I didn't say it. There we go.
But you did. But you did.
I love you fellas. All right, boys. Till next week.
Thanks,
Ian. Utah. Come on, BYU. Don't screw this up for us.
Boy, that's how we feel.
Man,
that's how we
Let's
feel.
Go.
Speaking truth. There he is. Ian Fitzsimmons right here on 97.5 the KSL Sports Zone.
There is a route. There is a way. It's a long shot.
It is a long shot, and you need a little help with Texas Tech.
But it would take Utah beating BYU.
Yes.
And then it would take BYU beating Texas Tech.
Yep.
And then them having no more losses.
Run the table the rest of the way.
Yeah, That's daydreaming right there, Scotty.
Oh, I'd love to dream, though.
That is like just beyond insane to even allow your brain to think that. But that's where we're at.
Nate's head just imploded at the thought of what that would do to his budget with all of us going to that championship game.
Or what it would do to his relationships with his employees when he tells them no.
Yeah, exactly.
But either way, it's gonna cause damage.
Who do you want bothered? The budget people or your employees?
Yeah.
Well, I think I know the answer to that, actually.
You're going to have to pick one.
Right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
It's time to saddle up and talk about the winners and the losers. This is the good, the bad, and the ugly. Now, here's the good.
Dropping is Mahomes. Fires middle of the field. Ball's intercepted. The ball is picked off. Are you kidding me? Devin Lloyd bringing it back again. Along the left sideline. 50, 45, 30, 20, 10, 5. Touchdown. 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 Devin Lloyd with the length of the field. Yet another interception. Jacksonville has taken the lead. How good is that?
Ooh.
Now, that's a call.
Yeah.
I'm down for that
There
one.
was some fire on that sucker.
Yeah.
You mentioned this a little bit in what you may have missed, but Devin Lloyd had a pick six. This is not just your everyday, average, ordinary pick six. This came as Kansas City was threatening to score, tied 14-14. Kansas City's on the 4-yard line. They're on Jacksonville's 4-yard line. Devin Lloyd drops into a zone, and he kind of scrapes across the formation on his zone drop and happens right into the pass of Patrick Mahomes. Let's see. He probably got that on the 2-yard line.
Yeah.
They called that a 98
99.
officially?
It's
99?
officially 99, yeah.
So he grabbed it on the 1-yard line.
Yeah.
And he went the length of the field and gave them a 21-14 lead. It was spectacular. And it wasn't just, I got it with green field and wide open grass. He had to break a tackle. He had to outrun a few people, and then he had to show some endurance.
Yeah. Once you get to that 30, 20-yard line, you're like, oh, that goal line's not getting here fast enough.
Oh, man.
All right, so I got a question for you. I was thinking about this last night because there was a lot. He had to do a lot on his own, but he also got some good blocking downfield. When you were playing on the defensive side of the ball, were there ever drills? Because, I mean, we would, my limited experience, if there was an interception or a fumble and you're out doing, engaged somewhere else and people start yelling, fire, fire, that means, hey, time to shift gears. You're now an offensive player and start blocking. What was that like for you, like at the collegiate level or even the NFL? Did you guys work on stuff like that?
So, absolutely, yes. There are things that you organically work on, and it comes through team periods. And it's a natural push. So what I mean by that, you're running your team periods, and you've got your look squad, or you got your practice squad that's giving you the look through the majority of the regular season. It happens with the practice squad, and it happens with the starters. So I'm going to give you, for instance, because the most recent I had was an offensive lineman. So as an offensive lineman, when you're preparing and you're going against a practice squad, if your quarterback throws a pick, as an offensive lineman, you turn into a defensive lineman or a linebacker, and so you beeline it for the guy that picked the ball. And every one of you do it. It's just it's an expected thing to do. And it's the same when the starting defense gets an interception. As a defensive lineman, you're always taught to look for the quarterback. You want to hit the quarterback. Primary. Take him out. Hit him as hard as you can. Now, do it legally because you don't want to get the flag that brings, but hit the quarterback. That's why you saw Isaac Wilson drilled into the ground against Coastal Carolina. It's because that's what defensive linemen and defensive personnel is all taught to do. Drill the quarterback. If you don't drill the quarterback, then get out and definitely look for somebody down the field. And they did. And it was awesome. And Devin Lloyd is a spectacular linebacker. He is fifth leading tackler on the team right now. He's got 2 TFLs, 25 tackles. He's got 4 interceptions.
Isn't that
4 interceptions, along with the pick 6.
And remember, that career got jump-started because some transfer from Penn State wanted to pursue business opportunities. Remember that? There was a linebacker transferred from Penn State to Utah, and in early camp quit the team. And Kyle said, well, he wants to be an entrepreneur or explore business options. And then Devin Lloyd got the call up.
Oh, that's right.
And got thrown right into the Wolves, and he was off to the races ever since.
Manny Bowen.
Manny Bowen, that's right.
Listen to this, dude. So he's got as many receiving yards as the 4th leading receiver on Jacksonville, De'Ami Brown. De'Ami's got 131 yards of receiving, and Devin Lloyd has 130 yards of return touchdowns. That's wild.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I'm happy for him.
Yeah, that's great.
He was such a great dude.
Yeah.
Such a great representative when he was here in the state.
Incredible player, too. All right, there's your good. Let's get to the bad.
Now the bad.
Well, Jerry Jones just got hit in the pocketbook. Dallas Cowboy owner, general manager Jerry Jones, fined $250,000 by the NFL for essentially flipping the bird at Jets fans on Sunday. Now, his version is the gesture was inadvertent, is what he said. It was inadvertent on my part because that was right after we had made our last touchdown, and we were all excited about it. There wasn't any antagonistic issue or anything like that. I just gave up the wrong show on the hand. It was inadvertently done. I'm not kidding. If you want to call it an accidental, you can call it accidental. But it got straightened out pretty quick. I had a chance to look at it. It got straightened out pretty quick. But the intention was thumbs up and basically pointing at our fans because everybody was jumping up and down excited. So that thumbs up somehow turned into a middle finger?
A $250,000 middle
How
finger?
many inadvertent birds have you flipped, Scotty?
They're all on purpose.
Okay.
Scotty's now standing up for Jerry
appreciate that.
Jones.
Yeah, like no. I'm saying like when you drop the double barrels, it's
meant.
It's meant for something.
Yeah, it has purpose.
Whether it's traffic or Lloyd or whatever the case is, like you mean to get a message apart. Like if I'm Jerry Jones, I'd be like, just own it. Like, yeah, they're Jets fans. They're dumb. That's the only way you can talk to people in New York.
Or anybody that tried to take a picture of Scotty for a long period of time. You knew you were going to get the bird in every picture.
That's on you. That's your fault.
All right, I feel bad about
The
that
picture
one.
taker. So $250,000 though?
Yeah.
So what are they going to do with Baker Mayfield? Will he get a fine? Because he went at that fan hard.
Oh yeah, yeah, and he
He did a lot more than flip the bird.
Yeah, he was saying some stuff.
Baker's a fiery sucker.
I love it, and the fact that he went chasing down that fan after the game,
Yeah.
wanting to still chat with him.
Yeah, because he blew him up. That was good. Come on, leave Jerry Jones alone.
Whoa.
I love.
Leave Jerry Jones
that-
alone.
It only took one documentary for you to be
I
Team
love him.
Jerry Jones.
I love him.
Well, here's the thing that I love about Jerry Jones is that we can knock on him all we want for being a general manager and making poor choices. And when your feelings get hurt, you change and, fire coaches. But guess what? If I were an owner, that's probably how I would be too. I would want myself to be general manager. If a coach wronged me and it feels like he's getting too big for his britches, then I probably like, you know what? I'm the one paying the bills around here. I'll go get somebody else. Like, I'm not saying it's right. I'm not excusing it. But if you're the one paying the bills, then you get to call the rules. Now, there's a lot of criticism that comes with that, but I don't care.
Have you watched the documentary?
No, it's on my phone. And by the way, when I'm flying to Hawaii, I'll probably watch it.
You got to watch it.
Yeah, I will.
It's so good because I'm not sports documentary guy as much as I am some type of life aspect documentary guy, but this one is really, really good. Second only to the Manti Te'o documentary.
Oh,
that's
incredible.
That's the best sports documentary that exists. I would go Jerry Jones, and then I would go the Redeem Team. No, What was, I go Redeem Team fourth. What was the one with Michael Jordan?
The Dream Team one?
The Dream Team.
Yeah.
I go Dream Team and then Redeem Team. Those are all really good. But, yeah, please leave Jerry alone.
Leave Benny alone!
Leave him alone. What's he done to you?
It's not like he's beating you with his crazy competitive football teams.
Well, what cracks me up is the league is worried about a middle finger, but you look at the halftime shows they bring in and you're like, that's interesting. So you're worried about a middle finger, but you're going to bring in some of the most disgusting halftime shows that have ever existed? All right, we get you, NFL.
Leave Benny alone!
The NFL should be fined for their stupid decisions sometimes.
146, Hans and Scotty coming up next. Another edition of Whole World News right here on The Zone.
This is Whole World News on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
We've got the whole world in our hands.
You got the whole world.
All right, Whole World News right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. By the way, Bill Armstrong, general manager of the Utah Mammoth, will join us coming up here in our next segment. Yesterday, Hans, I told you about a thief.
You're not going to beat yesterday.
I know.
Yesterday was really good.
The bar was set really high. Although I have a hard time wrapping. I have a hard time wrapping my brain around this one. I wish I had a news story on this one because it almost seems fake. But there is an elderly woman in Japan who got swindled out of thousands of dollars because she got catfished. But this guy, at some point, somebody's got to tell this woman, hey, this isn't a real person.
Mm-hmm.
And so I never want to blame somebody for their own misfortune, but this one's really close because a man reached out and created an online relationship with this elderly woman, and he told her that he was an astronaut and that he was actually in space.
This is in Japan?
In Japan. They met on July on social media. He claimed to be an astronaut, and after some exchanges, the so-called astronaut told her he was in a spaceship right now in orbit, but that spaceship was under attack and in need of oxygen. So he said, I need you to pay me thousands of dollars so that I could buy oxygen. Because apparently there's oxygen tanks, oxygen gas stations floating around in space that he can just park at, walk in with her money, buy some extra oxygen, and then leave and be fine. She gave her 1 million yen, which is equivalent of about 6,700
She
American
gave him?
dollars. Yes.
How much?
1 million yen, which is equivalent to $6,700. $6,700.
That's a big chunk.
Yep. The woman lives alone, started developing feelings for him with their online communication.
Does it have her age?
No. Here is a official from the police department in the city she lives in Japan. Quote, if a person you meet on social media demands cash from you, please be suspicious of the possibility of a scam and report to police.
Very.
I thought the buying oxygen might have given it away.
I think that,
or the
again,
astronaut.
Again, stealing is bad.
For most, yes.
Very bad. And I don't wish anything bad to happen to anybody, especially our elderly. But there's some times where it's like, come on.
So
what are you doing?
Okay, I'm fully on board with that. So many people, I'll just say, that's on you. And I've learned hard lessons where you get took or something isn't what you thought it was going to be. And you're like, geez, I got took. But there are groups of people, the infirm, the elderly, there are some that are maybe handicapped in some way that get taken advantage of. I'm very protective of those groups. And you and I have parents that, they're not, I wouldn't call them elderly yet. They're still young, right? Our parents are spry.
Oh, yeah.
But you can see them falling for things because they've got big hearts and open minds and technology is crazy. And somebody takes advantage of my parents, I will hunt them down.
Oh, yeah. I will go up in space myself.
Yeah. I will
and
hunt
rip
them
that
down.
oxygen tube right out.
That's the thing. Like, I'm protective of some groups. That's why I asked, how old is she?
Yeah.
Because if she's in her mid-60s and she's a healthy woman. I'm like, yeah, you learned a $6,500 lesson that people blowing up in space don't need your money for oxygen. Like, you got took, lady.
Hans and Scotty right here on The Zone.
Let's go!
Complete game coverage of the Cougars is right here on the KSL Sports Zone. The Cougars head to Tucson for a battle against the Arizona Wildcats. Your home for the best coverage of Cougar football is right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. This is Hans Olsen and Scotty G, presented by Mountain Land Supply on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
It is Christmas Day in the NHL. It is opening day, and I could not be more fired up, Hans. Year 2 of the NHL in Salt Lake City.
And I have missed our guy.
I know.
I've missed our conversations. I've missed picking up on the game, some of the finer details, and excited to have him back on the show.
He is the general manager of the Utah Mammoth, Bill Armstrong. Bill, how are you?
Well, I'm great. Now I'm talking to you guys. You guys just said it absolutely perfect. I have missed you guys all summer. All summer I haven't been able to talk about hockey, and I've just been waiting for this moment, and now it's here. So
it's here. It's our Christmas day because NHL is kicking off. It's your Christmas day because you get to be on with Hans and Scotty. What a fun Christmas.
Yeah, it is Christmas Day. I've never felt better.
The one thing I've always loved about our conversations, you're brutally honest about where your team's at. And last year when we asked, what are your expectations? You're like, hey, look, we're taking that next step. We feel like we're on the cusp. And this year you've flat out said, like, hey, we should be a playoff team this year. Do you still feel confident in that?
I do. I do. I think, it's for our group, it's we've put it out there. We've talked about it. We've asked everybody in our organization for a higher level of commitment. We got to push to get in, from the players, the trainers, the coaches, to myself, like whatever it takes to get it done. So we like that pressure too. I think there's a goodness of that, expecting to be good, expecting to make the playoffs, and setting that standard when you're coming to the rink that, we expect you to be at your best to get us in. So it's a good vibe around here. It's not going to be easy. I'm telling you, it is not going to be easy. We're in the toughest division in hockey. Every night it's going to be a punch in the face competition. It's going to be a battle. But I also think I love our group, and I think for us it's going to be a great challenge. We got some young players that can really flat out play. And with the schedule being condensed because of the Olympics, it's like every other night we're going. So it's on.
It's on, and I'm excited. And I want all the Mammoth fans out there to know that it'll look largely the same, but it's going to look drastically different at times too. And I want to try to grasp the magnitude of bringing in a guy like J.J. Peterka, coming into his fifth year, coming from Buffalo. He's a player out of Munich, Germany. He is a winger, and he's supposed to be fantastic. So help me understand, Bill, how much different does the Mammoth look with J.J. Peterka?
Well, he's a scoring threat. He's a 68-point guy that he's last year. He's a young kid in the National Hockey League. He gives us a ton of speed, and he's a threat to score off the rush. So for us, to be able to get him, he kind of completes our top two lines. I always felt like we were one or two guys short to be able to kind of create that top two line offense. And now we've kind of completed that. He's a special player. He's a young player, and he's pushing. He's going to push this group to get better. And then, we've got him on a line with Logan Cooley and Dylan Gunther, and might be the fastest, most exciting line in the National Hockey League.
Ooh. I like that.
How difficult is it from your perspective? And I imagine it's difficult every year, but you know your core group of guys, but finishing out that opening day roster, how difficult is that, and how agonizing is that when you know these guys are all putting in incredible amounts of work?
It is agonizing to think about it, but once you come to grips on it in your mind and you're like, okay, this is what we're doing and this is why, you feel good in the sense that sometimes you have to make a decision for a young player to go to play in the minors, but that's the right decision for him. It's a tough decision, but I always feel like if you're really a player and we put you down there, you always come back like, it's almost like you were shot out of a cannon or out of a slingshot back into the NHL, because you realize, the American League is a tough place to play, and you also realize that the NHL is where you want to be, and it's always a great, great teaching tool. And I always feel like we've done that with, from J.J. Moser we had a long time ago. We had Dylan Gunther and Josh Doan. They've all done it, and it really completes the player. I think it makes the player a little bit more consistent. So sometimes you got to make tough decisions on your roster and send guys down. But I also feel like there's some good that'll help the player long term.
I got to imagine, do you feel like that's more the way you lean, is let him cook a little bit longer in the AHL before you bring him up? You'd rather go too long on that end than throw him to the Wolves too soon?
Yeah, the NHL is the toughest. It's the toughest thing that they'll ever do in their life is play consistent at that level. So if we can let them bake a little bit, two things happen. They're a better player when they hit the NHL, and we're a better team because they're at their peak. I mean, when you get to this point and you're trying to push for a playoff spot, the NHL is not a development league. It's a league where you have to be good enough to produce. So I do feel like over baking them, it does help. It does help the organization, and it helps them as a player.
I love the way you put that, Bill, and it's kind of crazy to think that you have 6 first-round draft picks in the system right now, and I go through them with Lamoureux, and you got Iginla and Denoye, your most recent, but you've got all of this great talent that's in the system. But I like your take right there, where it's like, this is not a developmental system. That we've got systems for that. You guys have a different focus, but all this young talent has to be extremely exciting for you as a general manager.
It is. I mean, we've got some great kids. I mean, they came to play, training camp, and they're tough cuts. But when you send them back to their junior teams or down in the American League, you realize, like, okay, shortly they're going to be pushing for an NHL job, and they can help us win. If we time it right and help out their developing and bring them in the right time, they're not just coming in to play, they're coming in to help us win. And there's a big difference in that. And I think as an organization, it's a great thing, too, because we have high standards. Before, if you were ready to play, we put you in, and we're not at that right now. We're trying to take that next step, and we need players to come in and be able to contribute, be able to have impact, and really push the franchise, across the goal line here and get us in the playoffs.
There were a lot of games that got away from you in late game situations, in overtime as well. Do you feel like another year of experience added a little bit of experience to this roster? Do you think that helps in those late game situations?
I do. I mean, we've added Brandon Tanev in there, and he's a driven human being, and the Nate Schmitz and the Vanaceks. And, in total, we have 9 Stanley Cups in our dressing room, and that's an important factor. And I think everybody, there's painful lessons sometimes for the Gunthers of the world and the Coolies, that you have to go through and go back home for the summer and think about it and get better and be like, okay, I've got more determination. When I'm in that spot again, I'm not going to let that happen. And that's a maturing factor that has to happen for our club. And I feel in a lot of ways the guys went home, got bigger, stronger, and faster, and they're a little wiser. So they're going to help push. The schedule this year is absolutely it's unrelenting. And, for us, we play a lot of the games on the road to start out. And, we got to make it to Christmas and be in the race. If we can get to Christmas and be in that race, we got a good chance down the stretch to push and get in.
I'm so excited for you, Bill, and I'm so excited for this season, just to get this second season really going and understand and experience what it's going to be about. So, from a general manager's standpoint, what's been more difficult, moving a team from Arizona to Utah, or having a build and a rebuild on practice facilities and your playing venue? Because I got to imagine that's been difficult and a bit distracting for you.
Yeah. Well, listen, I think the hardest thing for us, was to be honest, the hardest thing we've done is, and it sounds weird when I say this to you, but our players were so touched when we moved here to Utah we started playing in the Delta Center, and our fan base, it felt like they were there for 30 years, and they're going crazy. Our players had a hard time playing there. It's almost as a team, we over-tried. We got over-frustrated. We were over-emotional. It's because our players cared so much and wanted to entertain. They wanted to win in front of our fan base. And, for the first part last year, we struggled with that. But it was because we were over-trying at times. That was probably the hardest thing that we did is getting used to playing in there with our fan base. And it's such a great thing. Like, we played our 2 exhibition games there now. It's just rock, and the new seating is incredible. And our whole facility is built in Sandy. It's just I live the dream every day I walk in. And I get to work for Ryan and Ashley Smith, and they've done a great job where they've created this organization where there is zero excuses.
Yeah. They take them all away.
Yeah.
There's no excuses left. Yeah.
All right. So this is, we always ask you one dumb question. Well, actually, we ask you a lot, but we ask you a lot of dumb questions, but one that we'll recognize as dumb. There's always, I've heard different arenas across the NHL, and players or coaches say, oh, that's good ice, or that, sometimes that's bad ice in there. What is good ice, and how important was that in the rebuild of this arena to ensure that you have indeed good ice in the Delta Center?
Yeah, well, I'm going to answer this in a way like I don't believe in excuses. So when our practice ice last year, we had a lot of snow. It's just you need pretty much 2 rinks to practice in the NHL because of the size of the player and how many people you have on the ice. And if you can't clean it, then your pace of practice slows down and the puck hops. And then we'd go to the Delta, and it just wasn't made. The Delta Center wasn't made at that time to produce great ice. There was no dehumidifiers in there, and the ice generation plant was old. Now we're out in Sandy with brand new facility, and the ice is unbelievable. And now now we go play at the game in the Delta Center, and the ice is unbelievable. So good ice benefits our team. And what it is it allows us to play fast. The puck moves on the ice, which allows us to play it. We're a fast team. So when we don't have good ice, that means it's slushy. That means the puck is jumping. And when the puck jumps on you, you have to slow down to catch it. When the puck is not jumping and it's not bouncing on the ice and it's moving across it, you can play fast. And the faster we can play, the more chance we have to win. So I believe the ice in Sandy at a practice facility and at the Delta Center is the best ice in the NHL, and it's going to help us.
So, Bill, I should probably ask Coach Bear this question, but I'll just throw it at you because I'd be interested to get your perspective on this. Veggie back, ready, looking good, but can you give us some ideas or at least a picture of what our net depth looks like?
Yeah, in this schedule that we play in is crazy. It's like we got to, I said we got to make it through to Christmas is the big thing. We got a lot of back-to-back games and on the road, which they're hard to win. And with our goaltending, the way it's set up, Veggie's pretty durable. He was great for us. Played 24 of 25 games coming down the stretch and crushed it. He can play almost every night. So that's a huge bonus for us. But Mr. Vanacek coming out of New Jersey a couple of years ago, he crushed it. He had an unbelievable team in front of him, and he just blew it out of the water, and he took it to another level. And the couple of years after that, he had some struggles. Played pretty well for Florida to win the Stanley Cup, and now we brought him in here. So he's been lights out, good for us all through training camp and into the exhibition season. So we have a lot of faith in him. I think with our 2 goaltenders running, they're going to give us good goaltending every single night. And with the schedule, we're going to need to have some success.
So the Olympic year, plus the fact that you share an arena with an NBA team, that just creates a scheduling nightmare for you, correct?
It does, but I think with the new power plant, the ice power plant, and the ice crew that does an amazing job at the Delta Center with the changeovers, they're going to crush it. SCG does a great job and hires the best people. So I believe our ice is going to be, one of the top ice sheets in the NHL just because of how hard the Delta Center and its employees work at keeping it good, as good as they do.
All right, last thing for me, Bill. Outside of J.J. Peterka, I fell in love with some of these guys on the ice and had a good idea of what they're going to bring to the ice. But outside of J.J. Peterka, give me the next name or another name that's going to be new on the ice that I didn't see last year that I need to pay attention to coming into this season.
Great question. That's Dmitry Simashev, 6'5", 225-pound D-man out of Russia. He's the best skating big D-man I've been a part of drafting. He's earned a spot. He's come into camp, and he's earned the right to start for our team as a rookie, as a 20-year-old D-man. He's had a great training camp, and he is somebody that we knew was good. We weren't quite sure if he'd come in and make the team, but he has. He can fly, absolute fly, and he's going to be a great asset for us to play some good defense down the stretch. But he's done a nice job coming in here and earning a spot on the team.
Dmitry Simashev, Kostroma, Russia. Wow, 6'5", 6'5", what?
Well, he's 225.
Ooh,
yeah.
I love it.
There
Excited to watch him.
Hey,
big boy.
We always appreciate it. Good luck, and look forward to catching up again next week. But let's go, man. We can't wait to talk about playoff hockey come April.
Let's go, man. I can't wait. We're so excited. Thanks, guys.
Happy for you, Bill. Thank you.
He's the best. Bill Armstrong, General Manager, Utah Mammoth.
New practice facilities, new Delta Center ice, basically a new arena that's a couple of years in the making. It's first year in the making of a couple where they'll build the upper bowl, next year?
Yes.
So after this.
Lower bowl should be good.
It's going to be the upper bowl.
Upper bowl over the next 2 years.
Over the next 2 years. So there's still a lot to go. But as he mentioned, the SEG or Smith Entertainment Group or Ryan and Ashley, they remove all excuses, which just adds a lot of pressure.
Yeah. Yeah, because when you have essentially an owner saying, what do you need? We need this. Okay, here's the check.
Yeah.
Essentially, the Jazz and the Mammoth have blank checks. And whatever they need, whatever they think they need, each player needs their own cook. Okay, fine. Give it to them. Whatever these guys need has been provided for them. So there's no this ice isn't good. Well, no, we got you a brand new ice out there in Sandy and 2 rinks. Okay, well, there's no excuses. Yep. You're right. There's nothing to complain about. So
I know that you talk to a lot of the same people I talk to, and we talk to varying people that are associated with the Mammoth, people that aren't associated with the Mammoth, NHL fans that are crazy NHL fans that have watched it from the outside in, and in all honesty, there are people that are very critical of Coach Tierney. There are people that don't know if Coach Bear is the right coach. Obviously, Ryan Smith believes it. Bill Armstrong believes it. And now, you throw in the pieces that they've thrown in, and you've stacked on the expectations you've stacked on. Now we got to see it. It's time for Coach Bear to take that next step. Now, we've seen the point improvements. We've seen the steps that have been taken. And now it's time for the Mammoth to shed it all and get themselves to a postseason and start to rebuild their name and brand. And a lot of that's going to be on Coach. He's got to take them to the next step. And I've got to imagine that I'm not the only one thinking it.
Yeah.
Right?
No.
Everybody's sitting around like, we've given you the pieces. And, Coach Tierney could say, wait a second, what are you talking about? I've got 6 first-rounders that are in my program. I'm dealing with a front that's got 4 guys that are 23 and under. This is an old league, and I'm dealing with young guys. We're still rebuilding through the draft. He could have excuses galore, but we just mentioned it. Ryan Smith removes excuses.
Yeah.
Okay, so you need a winger? You need a right winger that can score? Let me introduce you to JJ. What's it going to take to get JJ? Bill, get him on the phone, get representation. What would that move look like? It's going to be X amount. This is what it's going to mean for our team. Do it. Let's go. Now what? What's your other? What else? And I know he's young. He's 23.
Yeah.
He's coming into his 5th season in NHL, which is just being a baby in the NHL. That's what's crazy about the NHL. They play as many games as the NBA plays. They play as physical a style as you'll find in the NFL. And you're not hitting your stride until you're like 7, 8 seasons into the NHL. That's when you start to hit your stride. It's weird.
It's something that has been one of the biggest things to really wrap our brain around, learning this game.
Yeah, it does not make sense.
No,
these guys
not at all.
play on back-to-back nights, but they play as physical as the NFL.
Yeah.
So the one thing I've tried to kind of grasp to help myself understand it, because it does not make sense when the NFL plays a 17-game season and you get 7 days of rest in between each game. Okay, well, we're going to take that physicality and we're going to run an NBA schedule. The one thing that's helped me is the lineups.
Yeah.
And Jay Stevens and Bill Armstrong and anybody that I've talked to about it, and then going and watching it, watching the lineups, getting them on the ice for 30, 40 seconds, getting them off the ice for 30, 40 seconds, getting them the break that they need, and then also understanding what my lineups are and when I can put them on the ice and for how long. That's why when Veggie went, how many games was it?
24 out of the last 25.
And it was like 24 games was like the NHL record and standard.
Yeah.
And I remember thinking, wait a second. So that's a big deal. Yeah, that's a big deal. Now that helps you understand what they try to do to rest and manage these guys. But then you go to any Mammoth game, there's Keller.
Oh, yeah.
Working his butt off. I'm excited to watch Simashev, though.
Yeah, I am too.
And you could tell Bill's excited about him.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he answered that really quickly. The other issue, and we didn't have a chance to talk to Bill about it today, and Bill honestly isn't going to give you many details about it because I think it's going to be a policy of the Mammoth, as it should be, to not negotiate through the public. But Logan Cooley's got that contract extension coming up, and that's going to be a big question because according to Frank Saravalli, who joined us back in the day a lot, Logan Cooley turned down a contract extension that would have paid him essentially $77 million over 8 years. And according to Saravalli, he's entering...
NHL money's good money.
Is entering the blank check territory.
Yeah.
Meaning this guy is such a superstar, he's going to command a heavy, heavy salary. And that's what's going to be interesting about where the Mammoth are right now and talking about no excuses. When this comes down, and frankly, I believe it will, comes down a monumental, massive contract extension for Logan Cooley, then definitely there's no more excuses because Cooley's about to get paid, and deservedly so.
He is, and deservedly so. And, you think about your captains and you think about the most impactful guys. Well, Clayton Keller's your most impactful. As far as points are considered, he had 90 points last year. And then really you start looking down the line and you've got Logan right there, number 2.
Yeah.
With 65 points. He's very important to what they're trying to do. So I hope that they can take care of him. I hope that he sticks around. And here's the deal. These guys are in a perfect position here in Utah. You can own the state.
Oh, yeah. Especially with the Jazz being down.
You can own the state.
Yep.
And it's like, and it's not just the Jazz. It just feels like the NBA and its leadership. Like LeBron James is now worried about whatever liquor commercials or something. Like the decision part 2 or whatever it was for LeBron James. Steph Curry is aging out. It's like, who are my superstars? Well, my superstars are a couple of out-of-towners. You're looking at the Joker, and you're looking at some weird movement, and the Lakers getting a hold of the number 2 guy.
Yeah.
And you're just like, what is going on in this league? Dallas ends up winning the number 1, and now Cooper Flagg's out there. And by the way, I guess his debut was something special.
Yeah.
The Jazz miss out on him with the worst record. I kind of look at the NBA like, okay, get yourself organized, and I'll be back in the next 5 years. In the meantime, let's go, Mammoth.
Let's do it.
Let's get some NHL action going here in the state.
Hans and Scotty right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
It's time to talk some sports. This is Sports Roulette with Hans and Scotty on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Hans and Scotty, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. It is Sports Roulette. We take some of the big storylines, put it on a roulette wheel, spin it. Wherever that little ball lands, what we end up talking about. Bill Armstrong, by the way, fantastic conversation.
Yeah, it was so good.
And I think he wants to be sarcastic and pretend like he's begrudgingly doing this. I think he actually likes our chats.
I don't know.
Never mind. But he is kind enough to do it.
You know what it made me realize when we had Bill on? How strictly we've been talking about college football. Because it felt weird.
It did, yeah.
It was like, are we doing what we're supposed to be doing? But I'm not going to feel bad for having an NHL conversation with the general manager of the NHL team here in the state.
On opening day, too.
On opening stinking day. Now, the Mammoth dropped the puck on Thursday, isn't it? Against the Avalanche.
Thursday, yeah.
Yeah.
But the league opens up today, yeah.
The league opens up today. Mammoth open up on Thursday against the Avalanche.
You know what? I hate the Avalanche. I really do. Like, you were kind of looking for teams to hate.
Yeah.
I really hate the Avalanche. And I know we got our guy Eric listening out there. Love you, guy. But I hate your Avalanche. I do.
Well, you know, there was a time when I was called the Jolly Lancer.
Yeah, you were the Lancer. But now, those days are behind you.
You don't like McKinnon, huh?
No.
No love for Nathan McKinnon?
Nope. All of you. Get lost.
Hate all the teams from Denver, really.
Okay.
You should.
Stop it.
As you should in this market.
Don't ruin our show, eh? Get lost.
I don't know. I'm still looking for that team to really wrap my brain around and be like, I hate those guys. I hate them.
You know who you can't hate? Florida.
I know.
You can't hate the Panthers, and I'm having a hard time hating the Lightning. I'm having a hard time. I need to purge the Florida teams.
Well,
and embrace the Utah team.
Thing is, you're like, you know how people are born in different countries and they have dual citizenship?
Yeah.
You almost have dual statesmanship.
Very, very close. Yeah, very, very close.
Yeah.
Yeah. In fact, here in a couple of months, then I probably should have dual.
You're not going to go there until next year.
Yeah, at least next year. It's going to be that long.
By the way, we got some feedback on the our songs.
Oh, yeah. You mentioned this.
Yes, we got an open mic from a loyal listener who absolutely loves the show, and I feel like we need to play it. So, like he's a fan of the songs.
When we opened the show, we were playing some. We have 3 songs that we rotate to open the show. Each one of us have chosen a song, and it gets put on a rotator. Lloyd gets his played twice to ours once. I'm joking. But we asked, should we freshen it up a little bit? Should we get some new songs in there in the rotation? And this listener had some opinions.
The opening songs are perfect, Lloyd, ! You guys don't need to change them yet. Let them go for a while! !
Love the feedback.
Yeah, text to speech or speech to text.
I am going to leave them.
We appreciate it, period. Thanks for the call.
I felt like you were leaving a message.
You're the best! !
Is that Weber Eats? Is that?
No, that was not.
Play it, though. It sounds like him.
Hello, Wildcat.
Is this Weber Cooks?
The opening songs are perfect, Lloyd! ! You guys don't need to change them yet. Let them go for a while! !
I am going to leave them because I agree. They are perfect.
Open the nacho sauce.
Don't. Nope.
Comma.
Nope.
Lloyd.
Nope. Not.
Hey,
no.
To the listener out there, I know that you thought you were sending a voice to text. I don't care what you're doing. Thank you for listening.
Yes.
Yeah, that's all we care about.
We love and adore you.
Yeah,
and we will not change the music because you're right.
It makes it sound like we're making fun of you. No, because we would do the exact same thing.
100%. And I have done the same
thing. I have to say, Hans has done it.
Oh, dude. I accidentally sent a pretty horrible text because our boss's name was Jim Olson. And
Oh, this is one of the greatest stories
And
of
my
all
wife's
time.
name is Amanda Olson.
Yep. So they're right next to each other in the old phone.
So I just put together a text and I fired it off to an Olson.
Lisa
Olson.
Lisa wasn't Fawn Olson.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I'd much rather. I don't know. Yes, I'd rather be to my boss than my mom. For sure.
Jeez. What? Well, I don't know. What do you mean you don't know?
Oh, that was the worst. Oh,
So our guy was feeling a little amorous, sent off a nice little little text
to our boss.
and it happened to be our boss, Jim Olson.
Did he ever share that text with you?
No, you did.
Oh, man, that was rough. Love you, Jim.
Yeah.
Thanks for being understanding.
More than you know, Jim.
Not that much, Jim. But do love and appreciate you.
All right, let's get to it. Lloyd, spin that wheel.
Who needs to step up for BYU this weekend?
Keanu Tanavasa.
Oh, I like it.
It's done. Got to do it. He's got to be the man. I have zero insight with this, but I don't expect Jack Kelly to play. How can you?
After what we saw, what that looked like, if you get him back for the Utah game, I think that's a huge accomplishment.
I think that's a massive accomplishment.
And that should be your goal.
That would hopefully be your goal. And knowing Jack, he'd probably put every needle he could find in his shoulder to play in that game.
Yeah.
He's one of the few people that truly understands the concept of the rivalry game. Been around the state for quite a while with Weber and such, so he knows. But when you think about who needs to step up in the place of your sack leader, Jack Kelly is your sack leader. It's Keanu Tanavasa. Now, John Taumapeo, who you heard some sound from there, the BYU update, and we know Glasgow. I'm expecting Glasgow to play. Again, no insight, just kind of the expectation. I would go to Keanu Tanavasa and say, it is your time. Okay, so why do I not center out or point out defensive ends? There just hasn't been production. Logan Latui is second or third or fourth in tackles. Great. Vil Pauha, probably third, fourth, or fifth in tackles. Great. We're talking about quarterback pressures on Noah Fafita. Okay, so Scotty, I can't push the importance enough. You have to tackle, hit, sack, and pressure Noah Fafita. Now, he's going to get out of some, and he's going to be a magician with some, but you have to be able to pressure him. And I'm begging both Keanu Tanavasa and John Taumapeo to have the game of their life against Arizona. You're going to need it.
So you don't think this is like a set the pocket kind of thing and keep him in the pocket? No, you want to turn him loose and let him get after him?
I think, okay, now you're asking how I would do it.
Yes, yeah.
How I would do it?
Yeah.
I would pin all of my defensive linemen's ears back. I would just say, hey, yeah, you've got some gap structure, some. But I would go to every one of them. Hunter Clegg, Vil Pauha, Logan Latui, Moroni. I would go to every one of my DNs, and I would go to my D tackles and say, hey, we're going to hit gaps, and we are going to get in the backfield like crazy. And then I just establish, which this sucks missing Jack Kelly, I would establish my spy. I would have a scrape, and I would just have him watch any movement that Noah makes. All I'm going to do, I'm not even going to get upfield. I'm just going to make the lateral movements so that if he does start to press upfield, at least I can grab a shoelace of his and hold things up for Satawala or for Tanner Wall or for Siale Acera if he's scraping. And by the way, you know, if I have to assign a guy, I would be as crazy as saying, all right, I don't want to take Glasgow and Siale Acera out of their responsibilities. And I've got to be careful with my safety play. But I'm going to use Faletau Satawala as much as I can to contain, hit, and harass Noah Fafita. Because losing Jack Kelly, I lost the backbone of my defense.
Yes. Yep.
He is the backbone. He is the sack master. He is the pressurizer. He is the container. He is the spy. He would mirror. He would ghost, spy. He would do it all for you. And now I'm like, geez, all right, Satawala, you're next in line. Glasker, we've got responsibilities for Glasker. He's got all kinds of things he's got to take care of, and he can contain one side. That's why I go to Tanavasa in particular and just say, it's got to be the game of your life.
This is your game. Go do it.
But because this is the way I see it with Noah Fafita. I've got contained responsibility. I'm going to do that with my spy. I want to get guys in his face as fast and as many and as crazy as I can. So I'm going to rush them. I'm going to take the training wheels off of my DNs. I'm going to take them off. Just say, hey, this is your time to shine. Harass them. If you have to hit an inside gap, understand you're risking a lot. If you do hit the inside spin, we have to have you pressure him, and we have to have you push him deep. You can't hit the inside spin and let him on a straight downhill. You picture what I'm saying, Scotty?
Yep.
So if I'm coming up field and I've got my tackle near quarterback depth and I go to spin inside and I've got contained responsibility, you better spin and get back up field to at the very least push him back or bow him back before he hits an edge, because that's where you get killed.
Yeah.
But I'm giving my guys a two-way go. And we're working pass rushing off the defensive edge. Still, 5 games in, not a single sack from a defensive end.
Yeah.
That doesn't sit right. Now, we've had Jay on, and Jay said, hey, look, it's kind of the design of our defense. All right. And he said, I could call a game better to set them up. All right, I think this is the game.
Yeah.
You got to have a great game from your DNs.
With no Jack Kelly playing this quarterback, if you come out of there with 0 sacks, I don't know if BYU wins this game.
Yeah, you'd be in a lot of trouble.
Yeah.
Where Oklahoma State had 6 last week, and pressing him and pushing him, and now he still beat Oklahoma State, but they did harass him.
Yeah. Wrap this thing up next. Hans and Scotty, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.